Hey guys, Joe Grafeman here with the Squincher Outdoors team, and today we're bringing you another weekly fishing report. The bite this week has really not changed a whole lot from last week's video, but there are a few new patterns that I've been targeting and some areas that I've been targeting that have been key to my success. As we get into late summer, one of the great ways to catch fish on Lake of the Ozarks is going shallow. And when I'm talking about shallow, I'm talking about really shallow. The backs of creeks, the backs of coves, as far back as you can go. And the baits that you're going to use are going to be very key to your success. One of the baits that I've been using is the Livingston Lures Walk and Pop 67. That's a topwater bait that comes equipped with a feather treble, so it has a lot of action when it's sitting motionless in the water. It comes with great hooks, and also it makes sound. It has EBS technology, so that stands for electronic bait fish sounds. So when you cast that popper out there, it's sitting motionless, but making electronic bait fish sounds in the water that stimulates those fish to bite. The next bait that I've been throwing is a topwater frog. Livingston Lures is designing a brand new frog that's getting ready to be released to the market called the Freddie B. They make them in two different styles. They make them in a popping frog and a walking frog. These two baits work really well in late summer because when you get really shallow, you're going to need a topwater bait to keep in the strike zone. When I go shallow, there are two main things that I look for. I want to have the bluegill beds, so you want to have bluegill spawning in the area, and you also want to have bait fish. The predominant bait fish that I look for is the gizzard shad. You want to have big gizzard shad in the backs of those creeks and the backs of those coves. As many of you guys know, fishing deep in the summertime is great. But think about it this way. When you get into late summertime, a lot of the times you'll see those fish on points, a lot of the time slack off, not bite as good. So the reason for that is because they've been getting pounded all summer long by fishermen. They get accustomed to boat traffic and many other things that play a factor in this. So one of the things that I like to look for that helps me catch fish out deep is I like to look for brush piles. And when you're looking around for brush piles on Lake of the Ozarks, they can be in a lot of different areas. You have brush piles on points, you have brush piles on docks. But one of the things that I really like to fish late summertime is deep brush piles and the slips of deep docks. One of the ways that I like to fish this is with a 10-inch big Zoom power worm, and I also like to fish it with a big 1-ounce crocodile football jig. These work great. They're awesome baits to fish. They come through the brush really well. And the depth of the brush piles that I'm fishing are normally in about 10 to 20 feet of water. What determines that? There's a lot of different things. You know, the sun, the clouds, that can both determine it based on whether, it's sunny or cloudy outside. When the conditions are cloudy, you always want to look for the fish being around the brush piles. Sometimes they might not always be in the brush, but they're going to be sitting around it. When the weather condition is sun, you definitely want to know that those fish are going to be in the brush pile, buried in the thickest part of it, and using it as shade. Another thing that affects the brush pile fishing is the water clarity. When you have, a lot of rain like we just had, it dirties up the water a little bit, and those fish in the brush piles will get shallower. So you want to focus on those shallower brush piles from like 10 foot to the bank. When you don't have a lot of rain, the water gets really clear. You want to focus on those brush piles that are deeper than 10 and in deeper water, like 20 feet of water. Those are great brush piles and great ways to fish in the late summertime. And talking about the rain that we just had this past week, a lot of the bait fish in the backs of these creeks and the backs of these coves get really active because it's running fresh oxygen and fresh water into the backs of those coves. So it makes the bait fish get back there, and in turn it makes the bass get back there and feed on the bait fish. So guys, I hope this tip helped you this week. Stay tuned for more videos in the future, and I hope all of you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and comment on this video to see what you guys want in the future. If you guys are in the Lake of the Ozarks area and want to learn more in depth of how to fish, what to look for, and where to look for fish, be sure to look up my guide service. I'll leave the information below. Book a trip with me right now. It's a great time to do it. The weather's cooling down, the fish are biting. So when you're down at the lake, be sure to contact me, and thank you guys for watching.